EastEnders Penny Branning takes drastic action to keep Nicola Mitchell off her back next week and fakes a DNA test for her unborn baby. Penny has been left shocked by the revelation that she is much further along in her pregnancy than she thought, which means Vinnie Panesar is unlikely to be the dad. She and her ex Harry secretly slept together at the end of last year before he left to go to rehab, and Penny has realized that there is every chance he could be the father instead. As this week continues, Nicola finds out about this one-off encounter and twigs that Harry might be the dad. She confronts Penny about her baby theory, demanding that she does a DNA test, or she will expose her secret to everyone. While Nicola's blackmail is put on hold when she unexpectedly goes into premature labor, the drama continues next week as she recovers from her traumatic ordeal, and Penny is still firmly in the firing line. Nicola continues to push Penny over her suspicions that the pregnant stallholder is carrying Harry's child, and demands a DNA test to prove it. Seeing only one way out, panicked Penny hands Nicola a fake document in the hope of keeping the grandma-to-be at bay. Baby lies always come out in Walford, and this one is a whopper, says our Square insider. Penny might get Nicola off her back for the moment, but is she planning on lying to Vinnie forever, or just buying herself some time while she decides what's best? It's after chatting with her cousin Lauren that Penny makes her big decision. She then sees a softer side to tough guy Harry that only makes things trickier, so with the pressure mounting, the mum-to-be ropes and Oscars help as she plans her next move. After handing over the fake certificate to Nicola when she gets home from hospital, Penny can only hope that she will get away with her lie. But how long can she keep fooling Vinnie and Harry as each passing day sees her increasingly trapped in a disaster of her own making? The night air in EastEnders felt heavier than usual, like Albert Square itself was holding its breath. Secrets had a way of doing that, seeping into the bricks, curling around lampposts, whispering through half-open windows. And right now, no secret loomed larger than Penny's. Penny Branning had always been sharp, quick-witted, fiercely independent, and more than capable of handling herself in a world that rarely offered second chances. But even she couldn't outmaneuver the truth forever. Especially not this truth. Because this wasn't just gossip fodder or a messy breakup waiting to spill. This was a baby. A life. A secret that had been carefully guarded, layer by fragile layer, now threatening to crack wide open. It started with whispers. Not the obvious kind, the loud, dramatic accusations traded over pints in the Vic, but the quieter ones. A look that lingered too long. A question asked too casually. A name mentioned at just the wrong moment. Penny noticed. Of course she did. Standing outside number 25, she tightened her grip on her phone, scrolling through messages she'd read 100 times already. One in particular burned into her mind. We need to talk. Tonight. No emojis. No explanation. Just a ticking clock. She knew who it was from. And she knew what it meant. Inside, the baby monitor hummed softly. A constant reminder of everything Penny stood to lose. She glanced toward the cot, her expression softening for a fleeting moment. The tiny rise and fall of the baby's chest was almost hypnotic. Peaceful. Innocent. Everything her world was not. No one's taking you from me, she whispered, her voice barely audible. But even as she said it, doubt crept in. Because secrets didn't stay buried in Albert Square. They erupted. And when they did, they took everything down with them. Across the square, tension was building. Eyes were watching Penny more closely now. Conversations stopped when she entered a room. Even those who didn't know the full story could sense something was off. And in Walford, sensing something was often enough to start a chain reaction. One wrong move. One slip. And it would all come crashing down. The knock at the door came sooner than expected. Sharp. Urgent. Penny froze. For a moment she considered ignoring it. Pretending she wasn't home. Pretending none of this was happening. But denial had carried her this far. It wouldn't carry her any further. The knock came again. Penny, I know you're in there. Her heart sank. There it was. The moment she'd been dreading. When she opened the door, the confrontation was immediate. No pleasantries. No small talk. Just the truth hovering between them like a loaded weapon. You need to tell them, the visitor said, voice firm but not unkind. Penny shook her head instantly. No. I can't. You have to. This isn't just about you anymore. It never was. That was the problem. Back inside, the walls felt like they were closing in. Penny paced the room, her thoughts spiraling. If the truth came out, everything would change. Relationships would shatter. Trust would be obliterated. And worst of all, she could lose the one thing she'd risked everything to protect. The baby. Her secret. Her responsibility. Her fear. But as the minutes ticked by, something shifted. Fear turned into frustration. Frustration into anger. And anger into action. Penny stopped pacing. Her eyes hardened. "No," she said, this time with certainty. "I'm not waiting for this to blow up in my face." The visitor frowned. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Penny replied, grabbing her coat, "if the truth's coming out, it's coming out my way." What followed wasn't hesitation. It was a plan. A risky, desperate, all-or-nothing plan that only Penny would dare to execute. Phones would ring. Doors would open. Confrontations would ignite. And by the end of it, Albert Square would never be the same again. Because Penny wasn't just protecting a secret anymore. She was rewriting the narrative. As she stepped out into the square, the familiar setting suddenly felt like a stage, and she was done hiding in the shadows. Whatever happened next, there was no going back. The truth was coming. Explosive. Unforgiving. Inevitable. And Penny? She was ready to face it, even if it destroyed everything. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to EastEnders Spoilers Official.